You're here today to witness a momentous occasion in the Virgin Islands in the life of the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court. In celebrating our anniversary, our theme was celebrating the past, embracing the future. And today's function will signify us moving into the future and welcoming a portal that will help us to navigate the future in a logical way. And to do the opening remarks and welcome, I now ask our Chief Registrar, Mrs. Michelle John Tibbles, to grace us with her presence. Please.
It is my honor to extend a warm welcome to all of you, and in the same breath, thank you for accepting our invitation to attend this launch and media briefing. A few years ago, the court began this journey in search of the most suitable software to host an e-litigation platform for the ECSC. We realized that if we wanted to remain current in this highly sophisticated and technologically world platform, we needed a web-based application that would provide court users and stakeholders with access to assigned services anytime, anywhere, on any electronic device, with refined features such as electronic filing, electronic case management, electronic notifications, and so many other electronic capabilities. We needed an application which was custom made for our court, taking into consideration all of our peculiarities and needs, all while serving as the platform to improve the delivery of justice to the citizens of the OECS and to improve the operational efficiency of the courts, both at the appellate and original jurisdictions. We were delighted when our specifications were met by Crimson Logic Limited, headquartered in Singapore with a branch established in Trinidad and Tobago, who developed for us a highly proven web-based application software utilizing their e-Judiciary Accelerator product. Too often in life, we are reminded of what we cannot do or what we will never do. Today is a testament of the fact that whatever the mind can conceive, it can achieve. And so we are gathered here to welcome yet another ECSC milestone. I can't help but think that in years to come, I will find myself explaining to my children, and maybe even my grandchildren, how we used to file documents and case manage matters in such a rudimentary fashion, and they would be shocked that life was actually lived in that way, and possibly wonder how we ever coped. So today I am honored to join with the Honorable Chief Justice, judicial officers, and staff of the ECSC to launch the e-litigation portal for the Virgin Islands. As in the coming weeks, the portal will go live in St. Lucia and the BVI for the Commercial Court and the Court of Appeal. We are elated to have members of the media present this afternoon, and we hope that after today's launch and special demonstration just for you, that you will share in our excitement as we together move into the next phase of improved access to justice for the citizens of the OECS member states and territories. Once again, I bid you welcome, with the hope that you will enjoy this afternoon's program. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Registrar. And in the interest of time, I will just invite our Chief Justice, Her Ladyship, the Honorable Dame Janice M. Pereira, to come and bring greetings on her behalf.
Yes, in the interest of time, I shall also adopt the protocol, but allow me to recognize the Honorable Premier, Dr. Orlando Smith, as well as our Honorable Justices of Appeal, High Court judges, Master, and our specially invited guests and media persons who are present. To say that I am excited about this is an understatement. I think those who work closely with me at headquarters knows how hard we have fought and all the work that we have put in place in getting to this point. And so it gives me great pleasure to reach this point where we can usher in for the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court, and indeed now in the Virgin Islands, as we launched also in St. Lucia, the dawn of a new day in access to justice and in the efficiency of our justice systems by launching the court's E-Litigation portal. It signals a significant milestone in the court's drive, its relentless drive to improve its efficiency in the management of its processes. The Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court, as we know, it is a regional court made up of 6 independent states and 3 British overseas territories. And so it's a unique structure, partly in each state and partly out of state with an itinerant court of appeal. And indeed, that is why we were here all of last week. And so this stage that we are about to enter takes us to the next level in using e-technology. It is where we have to go. It is where we must go if we are going to remain ready for doing business, if we are going to remain responsive to the needs of the people that we serve. The world is experiencing an explosion in e-technology. And so the court must be able to adapt to the changes and to harness the benefits of this type of technology to meet the demands and expectations of the public. I think never was it so obvious when the hurricanes Maria and Irma struck the Virgin Islands, and we had to move very quickly to ensure that at least the commercial court, if we could not have all the civil and criminal courts up and running, to stabilize that position. We were able to do so mainly because at that time we had a rudimentary system of email filing of documents, and that coupled with our GEMS software, electronic software, which was then in use, enabled us to get the commercial court up and running without missing one scheduled hearing. And I think we did that in the space of about 2 weeks. And so it demonstrates what we can do if we are able to harness e-technology. We could not have done it if we were relying on the paper documents and bundles, because we all know what happened when those hurricanes struck and took so much of the actual physical files in our court offices in terms of rain and damage to those files. And so if I was looking for an argument, and I wasn't because I had been convinced before, that sealed it, that this is absolutely the right thing to do. This is the direction in which we ought to be going. And so we knew that in relation to that level that we needed to get to in terms of ensuring electronic filing rather than email electronic filing, we wanted to find a program that was modern, robust, and which can integrate all of those features in one bundled software. And so we conducted a search. We searched to find the partner who could deliver what we considered that the court needed to move to the next level. And we found that partner in Crimson Logic, who worked with us over the past couple of years. We have been on this journey together in looking at the needs, assessing our systems, listening to legal practitioners, listening to court office staff, because what we wanted was software that met the needs of the litigator, the legal practitioner, but also that met the needs of the court in terms of being able to process those filings as they arose. And so we were able to work with them to create, using, as you heard, their Judicial Accelerator software, a unique platform for the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court mapped to all courts' processes to deliver the kind of service that we wish to see and needed across the Eastern Caribbean. Let me tell you this, because probably many of you don't know. We were coming here, the Court of Appeal, to the Virgin Islands last week to begin the Court of Appeal sittings with 2 panels, and I think I see some of the commercial lawyers and others here. And we packed our boxes. We had a total of 30 boxes to travel with. Now, if you think about it, those boxes would have been sent to headquarters before at cost to the court. We, in turn, had to take those boxes and repack them and arrange them and take them here to Tortola with us for the conduct of the hearings during the course of last week. Well, our good faithful Liat indicated they cannot take 30 boxes for us in one go. And so we had to come up with a solution, which was to find a private charter plane which can bring the appellate judges here and all of the materials that we needed, because we cannot work without those materials. Now, think about where you have a system that allows you electronically to prepare bundles online. The ability of a judge to download those bundles if they wish, or indeed to access them on a drive, or if you download them, that you can take all of those 30 boxes on one thumb drive, put it in your pocket, or drop it in your bag, and you would be ready and prepared to conduct those hearings. This is what this will do for us. And think about what kind of cost savings that brings, not only to the courts and the states, but also to legal practitioners, to the litigant whom we serve. We know that preparing bundles is a long, tedious process. Pagination, photocopying. For the Court of Appeal, 8 bundles at a time. Some very heavy sometimes, too heavy for us judges to lift. But these are the realities. And so we have to search for solutions. Not to say it cannot be done, but to search until we find a solution that enables us to do that which we must continue to do and to do it more efficiently. And so you will hear from our partners at Crimson Logic the other features of the software program that they have assisted us in building to meet the court's needs, the Eastern Caribbean's court's needs. I am really happy that today we have this breaching and this official launch for this software. because I think that it will take the court to the next level in its efficiency. I think just over being here over the weekend, I understood, and I think just today I saw a network called E-Government. And I then learned that the government of the Virgin Islands is engaged in an initiative for e-government, e-services. And I laud that initiative because I think it is one that will take the Virgin Islands and make what it does in terms of services and a premier service center and maintain its place as a jurisdiction that offers high quality services, not only to the people in this region, but across the world. And so I want to assure the Prime Minister and the government that they will find in the court a ready supporter of e-technology, of its e-services, and its e-programs initiative. And so, with regard to our e-litigation software, which will be demonstrated, what I ask is to call on each and every one of you to own it, embrace it. Change, as we know sometimes, is hard, or we think that change is hard. But change is really the only constant that there is. And so in order to grow, we must embrace change. So as we go forward together into this new era in the delivery of improved judicial services for the people of the Virgin Islands and the wider jurisdiction of the court, I ask for your continued support in serving and in how you assist us in serving you and in providing better access to justice and in the quality of the delivery of justice. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Chief Justice. So to give us a better understanding of the inner workings of the software, I'll now invite our partners, Crimson Logic, Ms. Alana Maria Ali, Senior Executive with Crimson Logic, and Mr. Jose Bertram Cabral, Project Manager, to give us a demonstration. Make them welcome, please.
All protocols observed. Special mention to the Premier, Deputy Governor, and her ladyship. I just have a brief presentation that would highlight the journey that Crimson Logic is very much humbled to be part of with the ECSC. So just a little bit about Crimson Logic. We are what you call a government-linked company from Singapore, and as you all know, the digital age has fueled both societal and technological revolutions, where governments around the world are leveraging ICT to transform bureaucracy and enhance the quality of government services to their citizens. Over the last 30 years, Crimson Logic has been and continues to be the trusted partner to governments around the world, ushering them into what the experts call the fourth industrial revolution. So why e-litigation? The truth is, the new market-oriented economy, the social trends of globalization, and other exogenous factors are encouraging judiciaries around the world, especially in developing countries, whereby justice is to be served equitably, expeditiously, and transparently. Crimson Logic is very happy to say that our platform, Chrysalis, on which the ECSC e-litigation portal has been built, has ranked number 2 in the ICO APAC rankings for litigation software. As you can see, we do not just implement in first world countries like Singapore, but we are very much in the playing ground of third world developing countries such as Namibia, Thailand, and now Kazakhstan. Thailand and Kazakhstan are our two newest implementations for 2018, along with the ECSC. So what differentiates Crimson Logic's judiciary platform from the other plethora of software that's out there? Well, it's pretty simple. You have 24/7 access, be it your Apple, Android, tablet, laptop, desktop, even your mobile phones, 24/7. So that means you can file anytime, anywhere to your convenience. Conduct electronic hearings, calendaring and hearing management modules, so there are no more clashes in terms of which courtroom to use, which judge to allocate. Pack and go creation of e-bundles. This speaks to what the Emperor was speaking about just now. You no longer have 30 boxes, or sometimes 100, or maybe 1,000. Document sharing. Lawyers can share documents with clients electronically, and management and KPIs that can be set internally. All these together contribute to a well-oiled machine that will be the ECSC. Our journey, as I mentioned, has been a very humbling one. Speaking as a Caribbean girl, to be part and very much integral this journey where we're marrying ICT, the latest technologies, with the other arm of the government. So we started our journey in 2015, which actually started with an hour-and-a-half phone call with Mr. Gerard. I'm sure he remembers that conversation. And then we decided to do a diagnostic study in 3 of the islands that were highlighted, the BVI, St. Lucia, and Antigua. We then developed a financial and technical proposal, which was submitted to the ECSC executive, and they had their time to consider other options, as mentioned earlier. In July 2017, we kicked off the project. We have been continuing user acceptance testing here in the BVI, as well as training, which has happened in St. Lucia since September. And we are going live. Just to mention, this project will be a phased implementation one, since change is not something that we all as humans seem to be quite accustomed to, even though it's the only thing that is constant. So a phased implementation was chosen to be the best approach. These are some of the key features of the e-litigation portal, which my colleague Jose, who is the project manager for this particular implementation, he is what you call our domain expert, subject matter expert. He actually was very integral in transforming the Singapore judiciary, which was completely paper to paperless. So his input in this project has been extremely valuable. So I now pass you off to Jose.
The ECC court, right? And we have actually set up the training system. So this is where right now the most of the legal practices now are being trained. Okay, so this is actually the application, and it is hosted on the cloud. Okay, so it is a system that is running on Amazon Web Services. Okay, thank you. Hosted on Amazon Web Services, and it is online 24/7. All you really need is an ID, a password, and internet connection like this. Okay, so what I will do is, okay, before I actually log in and show you what a legal practitioner can see and some of the features, let's see what happens. Suppose the public want to actually see their hearing for the next hearing, right? What would they do? You don't really have to come to the court. So all you really need is we have this search public cases. Okay, so imagine I have a case number which is already there with me. So all I'll have to do, okay, I actually have a case number here. So they'll key in the case number and search, and you'll get basic information related to the case. So what you'll get is your case information and the next hearing. So you know that I have to attend a hearing for a chamber hearing and things like that. So this is meant for public. I don't really need to have an ID to log in into the system. And the public, general public, can just go and know if they want their case number, come in over there and see what are the next hearings are for. Okay? So now I'll change the rule. I'll try to log in as a legal practitioner now and show you some of the features that are there available in the system. So I'll log in now as a legal practitioner. Okay, yeah. So once I have the ID, I'll log in into the system. Now this is what we call the landing page. Okay, if you notice over here, there's a balance. So what happens in the system is each of the accounts, each of the lawyers will have a escrow account. Okay, and we keep reminding them and tell you how much money is there in the bank account. So this is what you get. So as and when they file the documents into the system, the money gets deducted from their accounts. Okay? While we are working on this, we are also working with the banks to see the other mode of payment, that is e-payment. Okay? We're still working with that, and that will be the next mode that will probably be there in the system soon. Okay. So the first thing you get to see in the landing page, right, is the notifications. Now, in the whole life cycle of the case, right from the time when you file a case, okay, till the conclusion, there'll be various notifications that will be sent across, okay, within the case. So you get in the form of a notification over here, right? Something like this will appear. It'll just tell you what exactly it is about. So this is about user registration, okay? So all the notifications appear over here, as well as for his emails. So you can view your emails. Suppose somebody's case has just been issued. You can actually go on the go, have an email, check what's going on, and then if you want to see the details of it, you need to actually log in into the system. But it gives you basic information of what's happening. Like imagine a notice has actually just been filed. Okay, notice. You'll be able to get the information. If somebody has served information to you, you'll get the information into your email as well as in the system here. Right? Now, we also have the calendar. So the calendar breaks down into various types of courts that you're in. Like, for example, let's look at BVI, right, at the High Court. So it tells you the agenda of some of the, most of the hearings that are there, you know, into the next few days. Okay, so that's what we call an agenda. And then we can have a different view. You can have a month view as well. Okay, so a lawyer logs in, or a case manager, or the judicial officers, they can actually log in over here and see, okay, what is my month looking like, you know, for the whole month. Or maybe then you can break it down into a week and see, oh, and we have various color codes. So basically, these ones are orange, these ones are really meant for the hearings. We can have other ones, the other ones are meant for like holidays. So we have actually, what we have done is we've actually put in the holidays for the whole year. And this differs from different member states. So we have the holidays for St. Lucia. We'll have likewise similar ones for BVI. And these are used for multiple purposes. One is, now you know that this is 24/7, right? That means I can do a filing on a Sunday afternoon at 2 p.m., right? So this is what the filing date is, okay? But we also have another component, we call it an effective date, which is going to be used. Now, how does that work? We actually, Saturdays, Sundays are not counted for the effective date, as well as those which are holidays. So on a Sunday afternoon, I file at 2 p.m. It goes into a system. I get my case number, everything. But the effective date will be 8:30 on the following day on a Monday. Now, if Monday falls on a holiday, it's going to be the next day, which is Tuesday. Okay, again at 8:30. Likewise, we can also have an ad hoc event that comes in. You can actually declare a holiday, maybe tomorrow. And then all you got to do is set it up in the calendar. And this part also is then pushed on to the next day for the next working day. Okay? And this is also used for conflicts when you actually fixing a hearing, right? So the case managers fix a hearing. So they look at what the schedule looks like for the judicial officers, and then they say, okay, there's a conflict here based on certain guidelines that we have, and then it'll be alerted. Okay, like the same judge cannot be at the same place, same time, same venue. So we look at those conflicts, as well as we are doing things for the lawyers. Right now, what happens is that when a lawyer has been fixed for a hearing for a magistrate's court, maybe on a Friday at 2 p.m., for example, and somebody tries to fix a hearing for a high court for the same time for the same law firm or for the same lawyer, it gets double booked because there's no check done. And then at the end, what happens is that magistrate's court's hearing gets adjourned because high court probably takes precedence, and then it goes over to adjournment to another date. But if you knew about this happening earlier, you know, set up the alerts of these conflicts, then we'll be able to handle the situation a lot easier earlier, and then you'll have a different set of arrangements for that. Okay, so there are conflicts for the lawyers and conflicts for the judges as well. Okay, so that's what the calendar is all about. And this, okay, let's go have a look at the active cases now. Now, this is what you call a central case. Now, all the filings, all the information, everything that you need will all be at a central location, okay, of a case file. That means whoever files, all the parties involved in the case, all the information resides over here, okay, in the system. So you'll be having a basic case information, whatever has been filed, parties information, details, okay, as well as the documents. So everything resides at one place. For you can view and open the documents from all this, and this is all on the cloud, right? Which means no matter where you are, you want to access the system in the US or Japan or everything, you can do so just by logging in into the system, okay? And along the way, okay, after the once the hearing is fixed, right, there is some additional information or some sort of types of actions that can be done, okay? Like, for example, we can actually do bundling, right? So what is bundling? What this does over here is, imagine you have 10 documents, okay, in the case. Now, you may not need the entire 10 documents for the case, and some of them could be 400, 500 pages, right? So what the system does is allows you that, okay, maybe I need only 10 of those pages from one document, 20 from here, 30. So you can pull documents, pages from different PDFs, merge them together, and create this new bundle. And you can file that as either a trial bundles or a pleading bundles or whatever documents that are there, right? And then so what that means is that all the filings, right? You don't have to recreate a bundle now again. You can do it directly in the system itself, okay? So you can really zoom down to the actual information and documents that you're dealing with for the case in the bundles. Now, what happens if, now we are online here, right? So what happens when you want to go offline? So the system also allows this concept, they call it pack and go. So what it does is that it actually takes the entire case information and the documents involved in the case, create a zip file, and you can store it in your thumb drive and go wherever you're going, right? Take it and go. So this is more like browsing the case, offline reading, okay? And you don't really, and it doesn't, you don't use up your bandwidth or things like that. Or you can be sitting on your case, viewing the case on a flight or sitting somewhere, you know, far away with no SS, right? So that's what Pachyderm does. So it is used for multiple purposes. Lawyers use it also for backups. Suppose sometimes the lawyers say, okay, I may not have a backup system in my law firm. So what do? I can go and download my latest information of my case locally and store it and keep it in my backup drives. So I'll know at a time, I'll always have the latest information available, although it's offline. Okay, so that's another way in which we deal with. So this, and then basic information is there, including of the service of documents. We actually capture the information of the documents that have been served across parties, so we know exactly when, who served when, and the type of information that was served. So everything really is just at one location for all the case information that you need to work with. Okay, and then when the hearings are fixed, you actually get the hearing notices that have been generated. It'll be sent across to all the parties involved in the case. Okay, so you don't really need to know when you get the notice directly and know exactly when to come for the hearing. Okay. Okay, I think I'm very sorry.
Can we give the Crimson Logic team another round of applause, please? In the introduction of any new software, we need to have partners who can test the software and give feedback. And today I'm going to invite Mr. Andrew Willins, Senior Associate from Appleby, to give his testimonial on the software so far.
Having heard how great this new system is, it seems almost a little unfortunate to be reflecting on how good the existing system has been and how well it served us. There are two aspects to the system as it stands at the moment. One is in the Court of Appeal, and one operated, as the Honourable Chief Justice has said, between September and December, I think possibly into January, following Hurricane Irma. And as the Chief Justice has said, it's very difficult to think of a better advertisement for e-filing than that 3-month period, when many of us were displaced, many of us were working in different places. We were able to file documents from St. Lucia, where many of us had teams, from Tortola, or from wherever we might have been at the time. The thing with e-filing is that, in a sense, it's a bit like what it says in the tin. I mean, you're filing a document. But I made some inquiries with my colleagues internally who are responsible for dealing with this sort of thing on a daily basis. And they extolled at some length this morning the virtues of e-filing. So it's not just the fact that you can do it remotely. There are the efficiencies. And so, to take an example, if one's filing documents for the Court of Appeal, you're filing 8 documents, 8 bundles, very many bundles obviously attached to particular cases. Under the new system, as I understand it, and I caveat that by saying I haven't yet had the training on it, but as I understand it, it will be possible to file a single bundle electronically. The court will have access to that bundle. The other side can be served with it electronically. And so it facilitates the paperless office in quite a substantial way. I know that's a goal that many of us here are moving towards. It avoids the need to deal with that sort of 3 p.m. or 4 p.m. deadline where people are running around thinking, oh my God, this has to be filed at 4 o'clock. And we've got to get somebody down to the court and we've got to get it all printed. And everything has to go into tabs and into bundles. And then there's a queue at the registry. So from an efficiency perspective, I think the existing system has served all of us extremely well. It remains to be seen that the new system looks head and shoulders above anything that we have at the moment. And so I'm confident that the new system will continue to serve us in the way that the old system did during its time. So that's all for me.
I will now invite Mrs. Kimberly Adams to come and give her testimonial.
Protocol having been established, I am, just like Andrew, very pleased to be here and to give my comments on the new system that is about to go live soon. Like Andrew, I have not yet had my training on it, and so I had to speak with my colleagues that are responsible for doing filings just to get a sense from them, and I had an overwhelming amount of raving about this new system. A few of them are in training at the moment, but essentially, I think for us, as Andrew has explained, it's the efficiencies of this new system that we're very, very excited about. We have very tight deadlines, which we really have to manage very well. We have a 4 o'clock deadline. We have to file at the court. We have to get bundles together. when we're filing for the Court of Appeal, we have 8 sets of hundreds of pages of documents that we have to put into bundles. Many times the fee earners have to help the support staff to put these things together. We have to run down to finance, get stamps. Yoo-hoo glue doesn't really work as well as a tongue. You have to stick these things, and you're literally on hands and knees trying to get things filed. You have to take into account what traffic you're going to meet. God forbid it's a Friday afternoon. God forbid it's festival. You have to really try to plan and then really pray that you don't meet a queue at the registry, 1, and 2, that the good registrar will allow you in if you're a minute late, and you beg and plead, please, it's 4:01, please, we have to have this filed. And then you have to sort of anticipate having your service letters ready so that when you go to file at the registry, you don't have to come back to get a letter typed up, because now you have to serve on the other side by 4:30. And it's a nightmare. And I'm speaking for Harneys, when the registry was right next door, we had it down to a science, but we don't have that luxury anymore. We can't just take bundles and call guys and say, we need to be at the registry right up the road. We now have to jump into cars, and it's really, really stressful and really difficult. And the girls and guys are just really excited about us being able to file electronically. We did it over the course of the hurricane, and we were all over the place. I was in Cayman. We had our Hong Kong office. They were filing. We were filing in Cayman. People were filing in St. Lucia. And it was just so much more efficient. And I remember when the system was abandoned, everybody went through sort of withdrawal in the office. People were crying. People were writing letters asking, why did you have to stop it? And it was just a sort of, oh my gosh, this can't be happening, haven't been exposed to, and it wasn't even this system that we are sort of witness today. It was literally just filing by email. And it is so much more precise in terms of the time that you submit your documents. We found it to be extremely precise, and we would get responses very quickly, and we have to really commend the team that went down to St. Lucia during the hurricane, because those girls were amazing, and they did such a fantastic job getting us the stuff. Clients were very, very happy that we were able to turn documents around so quickly, and it really took a lot of pressure off of us having to print all these hundreds of bundles that you then waste paper. You have to factor in buying all these folders, and it's just going to be, I think the partners are so excited with this new initiative and the money that they're going to save, with not having to purchase all this material to do this filing. So we are really, truly excited about this new system that is about to go live. We welcome it. We think that we're moving into a very modern age where everything is going paperless, and we speak so highly about how much the BVI has to offer, the commercial court, all that. It's done for the jurisdiction, and even our civil courts, that it's time now. The time has really come for us to be in step with our competitors and to show them that we can do exactly what they have been doing and even better. And so we are really excited about this, and we welcome it, and we are very happy to all be a part of it. Thank you.
The ECSC presents the launch of the new E-Litigation portal. You can now file documents, view case files, generate e-bundles, and so much more online at any time. For more information, visit our website www.eccourts.org. The ECSC E-Litigation portal, serving you on time and online.
I will now invite our Honorable Chief Justice to do the official click to launch our e-litigation portal.
And so here is the official click.
Yes.
There we are.
It's finally here. The ECSC e-litigation portal is now live for the Commercial Court and the Court of Appeal in St. Lucia and the British Virgin Islands. Look out for implementation in your member state or territory. The ECSC e-litigation portal, serving you on time and online.
So we have come to the end of our formal function, but before I do the vote of thanks, I want to invite members of the media who is present here today to journey upstairs where you'll get a further live demonstration of the portal. So, and you can also ask questions of the developers, Crimsologic, and members of our management team who will be on hand to assist you with any queries you may have. On behalf of our Chief Justice, Her Ladyship, the Honorable Dame Janice M. Pereira, DBE, management and staff of the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court headquarters, I would like to express our gratitude to the Crimsologic team for an excellent presentation. Mr. Willins and Mrs. Adams for an excellent presentation, brief but comprehensive testimonial on the portal. And and your enthusiasm. I wish to thank the members of the electronic and print media who are here covering this milestone event. I cannot but recognize with gratitude the invaluable contributions of members of staff of the court's headquarters and the BVI court staff who work to ensure that this event is a reality.
Reporting for the Department of Information and Public Relations, I'm GIS Information Officer Cherie Smith, and here with me is Her Ladyship Honorable Dame Janice Pereira, DB. This is a significant milestone for the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court. How does it feel that the Virgin Islands is once again leading?
Oh, I think it's a really positive feeling. I think basically when the BVI decided to set up a commercial division of the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court, it started, I think, in a way very slowly, but look at the pace that it does today. So I think that is testament to the fact that is a commitment to delivering modern quality services in the Virgin Islands, and I see the entire e-litigation software, which integrates case management, scheduling, bundling, all of those things that you've heard, and importantly, the ability to file a document from any place, anytime, 24/7, will simply revolutionize the way that practitioners and litigants are able to do business with the court and enhance, therefore, the entire business climate.
Excellent. And today we would have heard from two of your colleagues representing two other companies here in the Virgin Islands, and them also echoing the sentiments of efficiency and this moving forward. How did it feel to hear that coming from those representing those companies today?
Very, very encouraging, because at the end of the day, the system is really to assist our stakeholders, legal practitioners representing litigants, litigants alike. They are the court's stakeholders.
Okay. And just once again, share with us, what do you expect from the legal team as well as the public as we embark on utilizing this e-litigation portal that just went live today?
Yes, I think what one can expect is an ease of doing business with the court. I think, as you heard one of the legal practitioners talk about, and I think both spoke about, queuing up at the registry, traffic awaiting, trying to beat the clock. All of those things, that is what it will mean, an ease to which you can still conduct your business from wherever you are without those limitations being placed upon you.
Thank you so much, Chief Justice. Once again, congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you.